Hello, everyone. It's Brave here again. Um, Today, I'm going to talk about why it's so important not to let other people's negative behavior affect your self worth or your self esteem or your self control or your dignity or your integrity. And we're going to talk about that. So, I'm just going to add a guest link just in case anyone feels like they can add something to the conversation and relate. So let me just quickly put this up. One sec. There you go. So if anyone is interested in coming into the guest box and talking about any experiences they've had with people who seem like they enjoy disappointing you, they get some weird sadistic pleasure making promises and knowing they have no intention of keeping the promises. um, they hear the happiness in your voice. They say, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, sure, I'll call you. Yeah, it's like these people, not all of them are doing it on purpose. A lot of them have narcissistic personality disorder, and they cannot control that sadistic pleasure they get from hurting others. Now, the reason I know this is because I had two narcissistic parents, both of them malignant, sadistic, cruel, narcissistic parents, and they were communal narcissists as well, meaning they were pro-social. So they would go out of the family home and be so nice to everyone in the community that people would think they were saints and angels and love them so much. However, they didn't know the cruel, sadistic behavior they subjected me to from the age of 7 upwards. The beatings, the emotional abuse, the fear and intimidation, making sure you didn't tell anyone what was going on, or you'd get worse, or you end up somewhere worse, and playing on your fears. So yeah, the thing that I wanted to talk about specifically is the fact that people like me, who are empaths, who are extremely welcoming to others, kind, giving, loving, genuinely want to save everyone, protect everyone from suffering and pain. Those people, those kinds of people, often attract their total opposite. And that's something I've noticed a lot, is that me being so loving, so kind, so friendly, so open, really genuinely wanting to solve the world's problems. I could probably solve someone else's problems in 5 minutes, even if my problems were too difficult to solve, because obviously I will try and solve my own problems, but sometimes my stuff, because you're emotionally in it and it's depressing or sad, or if it's something heavy and negative, then you feel like you can't see many ways out of your problems, and then sometimes other people can see what you can't. So for me, I was always really good at supporting other people. I didn't have to know you well either. That's another thing. I could just come into someone's life and see so many opportunities that they couldn't, because either their depression, sadness, grief, whatever it was holding them in a dark space. And then I would try and shine a bit of light into that dark space and give them, some hope, and say, well, hey, this and this has happened. It was horrific. It was horrible. It was awful. But, let me try and help you get to a place where, you can, something positive can come into your life, you know, or you can get some enjoyment at least out of some part of your life. Not that it can ever take away the terrible grief, because you don't ever get over grief. Grief just moves into a stage of, you cope with it differently or better, but it never goes away. And I know that from personal experience too. Um, but it's like I said, empaths seem to attract like I said, they're opposite. So if I'm super, super caring, loving, kind, helpful, loyal, wanting to advocate for you, wanting to defend you, wanting to protect you, then I seem to get the people who are drawn to me seem to be rude, cruel, not caring, sadistic, don't want you to succeed, want to pull you down, are unhappy when you're happy, are jealous when you get an opportunity, are jealous of your intelligence to create new opportunities or to create something out of nothing. So even if I have nothing and was at rock bottom when they met me, but because I still have that internal good soul, that no one can take that from me, that kindness, that bravery, that chivalry, that honor, they can't take that away from me. Even if I'm poor and sitting on the street in rags, you cannot take my honor, my bravery, my kindness, the fact that I want to care for others. You can't take that from me. So it wouldn't matter what you did to me. I'm still always going to be me. I'm still always going to be a good soul. But yes, the world does make you feel like you don't want to help some people sometimes. It makes you resentful. And I think that's the biggest problem that I've faced, is just, I'll be going out into the world trying to help others, and then you get resentful when the people you've gone out of your way to help, will just spit it back in your face or act like, they're jealous that you're in a position to help them. They're annoyed that you have enough compassion and kindness, and they'll take it the wrong way and be like, oh, you're looking down your nose at me, oh, you're throwing me some charity like I'm not good enough, which is not true. If I'm struggling too, and I have, you know, two pennies to rub together and I give you one of the pennies, how am I looking down on you? I'm just splitting my little bit of nothing with you. It's very hard to understand when people are so, rejecting of kindness. And that's when they must have a personality disorder. It can't be just, out of the blue, like, because if someone was kind to me, I would appreciate it so much. I would make sure that person knows how grateful I am. I would acknowledge that person's kindness. I would try and repay the kindness. But when I see how other people just have no, certain people will go out of their way to hurt you because you've been kind to them. And when you see that happening, that is someone with a narcissistic personality disorder, because nobody would ever look at kindness and think, I'm going to take advantage of that person if they were normal. Anyone in their right mind, anyone in their right mind is going to see that good soul as a gift, as someone that God has placed in this horrible earth to, help us, So any generous, normal people out there, you've got to remember that people will take advantage of your kindness. People will look at your kindness as weakness. People will keep, you know, keep you around just so they can abuse your kindness. You might think you're friends, they might be family, you might think we're close. I remember, I tell you a little story. I remember growing up, and there was another family that my mum always helped. So the woman, she at 21 had an affair with an older man who was like 20 years older and married. The man was married, and he had an affair with this woman, and she wasn't pretty, she was overweight. So she just took any attention from any man because he was the only man giving her attention, I guess. And she had 5 children with this man. And her brother said, why do you keep going back with this man? He never supports you. He never gives you any money for these children. You're on welfare benefits, which is, you're not working, you're not striving, you're living off housing that the council gave you, which you haven't earned anything. You're just sitting on your ass having kids, not providing for them properly. And so my mum, who's a sadistic, malignant narcissist, went out of her way to make sure that everyone saw her giving food and clothes and like spending money she should have been spending on her own household for our rent, for our food, for our clothes. She's wasting it. I wouldn't say she's wasting it, because yes, you're helping another person, so that's incorrect. If she's helping another person, that's good. But the reason it's a problem is because she was not helping uh, the woman because she wanted to. She was doing it because she liked the idea of everyone seeing her as a woman who did things for other people, who, was super kind. It was all an act. Basically, she was doing it for show, is what I'm trying to say. And her doing this for show, it was just obvious because she's a narcissist, so she's not going to do anything if there's no reward from it. So the reward in her mind is the world's going to think I'm great, the world's going to think I'm lovely and kind and whatever, and then they're going to give me that source of supply, which is the attention she craves, which is I want to be admired, I want to be considered great and kind and whatever, when really she's a sick, abusive, violent, disgusting person in private. So when people would see my mum in public, they would always be praising her. Oh, it's that lovely, kind lady. Like if they were an acquaintance and they didn't know her name or whatever, but they knew her reputation of, oh, she's so generous. Oh, you can ask her for money and she'll just hand it to you. Now, we're not a rich family, so why are you just handing out money to strangers? You're not rich, so you need your money. You're from a poor family too. But and not saying you can't share, like, if someone's super struggling, you can't share with them. Yes, of course you can. But the reason she was doing it wasn't anything to do with kindness. And the problem that started to arise was that everyone was taking advantage of that supposed kindness, but they saw it as weakness. So they were just like, oh, can I have £20? And she would just hand it to them, not even ask, like, what do you need it for? Are you going to give it back? Or is this a loan or a gift? What do you need? Like, she was acting like she was scared to question anybody. And I remember as a kid, I would then go and tell the person, like, I was as young as 10, going up to grown adults and saying, hey, can you give my mum that money you took? It was a loan, not a gift. 1 minute. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, it's like 10:50 in the morning here and my throat's a bit dry. I just woke up. And so yeah, it was weird to me as a kid because I could clearly see what was going on. And for some reason, she couldn't see what was going on, or she didn't want to see what was going on. She thought everyone loved her and everyone thought she was great. And that was feeding her narcissistic personality disorder, because the root of that disorder is they don't feel good enough, they don't feel strong enough, they feel inferior. They were made to feel inferior by the abuse they suffered as a child, and they couldn't take the severe abuse that was put on them as a child. So then that created a split in the mind, almost like a split personality disorder, almost like a Jekyll and Hyde in them. And then the bad side of them tried to protect the vulnerable, innocent side that felt inferior, but then it becomes skewed and messed up, and then it starts, the sadistic part of the personality disorder starts enjoying hurting others the way they were hurt. It's very complicated. And I would definitely suggest and recommend looking on YouTube for videos done by is it Professor Sam Vaknin. So it's Sam, Sam, and then the surname is Vaknin with a V, so Vaknin. And he's a professor of psychology, but he's also a diagnosed narcissist. which seems weird. You'd think, "Ooh, why would I take any advice or look at the videos of a narcissist?" And at the time when I really needed some help coping with leaving a narcissistic ex, and he's able to tell you exactly what these narcs are thinking and why they're doing these bad things and how you should get away from them and how you should handle them in order to keep your sanity and get away. Because when if anyone out there knows, what it's like to be with a narcissist, it is not a bowl of cherries. It is extremely volatile and sometimes dangerous and very cruel situations, and it's extremely hard to get out of those situations, because it's not a normal just relationship where, oh, you don't get along, oh, let me leave this person. You can, if you're a broken person like me who has trauma from childhood, you're going to have a lot of triggers, and they trigger everything that hurts you. If you have abandonment issues, if you have jealousy issues, if you have, I didn't feel good enough as a kid because my parents made me feel like I wasn't good enough, and then you build yourself up as a grown up, but then you meet a narc and they somehow scan you and work out, or they will let you talk about yourself and say, yeah, tell me about your life, tell me all your deepest darkest fears so I can soothe them, when really they want to use that as ammunition against you, to hold it in their back pocket and say, like, as soon as they feel the need to control you, like, first they'll love bomb you, then when they know you're under that loving spell of thinking, oh wow, they're so amazing, I never met anyone like this before, they're so great, we're going to have a great life together, then when they see that, they're like, bam, let me get out all her fears that she told me about, and then I'm going to try and make her jealous because I know that'll drive her crazy. I'm going to talk about my ex or talk about the girl at work, or say, wow, I saw this beautiful woman today and, she was so slim, and why can't you be that slim? Or, just nasty little comments like that. Now, a stronger person would be annoyed but get over it and maybe say, well, why don't you go pick her then? Because I'm happy how I am. So if you don't like it, it's your loss. And a strong person would mean that. Whereas someone who's a bit broken might be genuinely hurt, like, oh my god, like, he's going to leave me if I don't get slimmer, or and they don't even care if you're fat or thin, black or white, slim or not. It's like they will target anyone. Like, usually they're targeting empaths because they need someone who's going to come towards them, who's going to want to uh you know mother them and care for them and help them, and they kind of need a person who is giving and kind, because if they come across someone who's a psycho or cruel, it's not going to work out well for them, because then they're going to lose out, they're not going to have any control over a person like that, and then the consequences of them provoking jealousy or rage in someone who's already a psycho is going to be extremely dangerous for them, because they might get beaten up or hurt or worse. And so, yeah, the thing that is annoying about, you know coming across a narc and not realizing they're a narc, is that you genuinely don't realize they're mimicking you. So you will think, wow, they're so kind, they're so brave, they're so honorable, they're all the things I'm looking for. When really they're just mimicking you. You're brave, you're honorable, you're loving, you're these things, you're all these good things. And maybe because of your brokenness, because of the past, you don't even realize you're all these things. You're just being you. So being a kind person or an empath, or just, a dignified person, whatever, you've got all these qualities and you're just living them and showing them because that's you, that's your natural state. But they are always going to see any good in you as something to be jealous of, number one, because they don't have good in them, because it was beaten out of them or abused out of them, and then another weird thing is that a narcissist can be created in childhood by being spoiled, over spoiled, meaning like I don't know, like the kids of a royal family, they're not living in normal reality, so no one will tell them no. They've got servants doing anything they say, even when they're a child, and so that's not normal reality at all. So you got someone like Donald Trump is a narcissist because he grew up in a rich family and no one could discipline him, I guess, outside his parents. So he's got the idea that, I've got money and I can get away from my controlling parents. And now, if I wave enough money in people's face or let them know I have power, they'll back down. So, yeah, you can get narcissists from people being brought up in an abnormal reality that was not correct, that was not normal. So that's, yeah, something people should remember, that you can come across someone and they don't have to be a victim of neglect and violent abuse or sexual abuse. They could literally be just someone who was brought up with delusions of grandeur, like, yes, they had a rich family and everything, but it's like, it's the pompousness and the idea that was drilled into them, that you're better than everyone else, you're godlike, you're special, because, yeah, it's not a problem saying to your kid, I love you, you're special, but it is when they turn into a malignant sadistic narcissist because you took it way too far. You let them get away with running people over, and then you made sure the lawyer got them out of the murder charge or whatever. Like, there's so many things that could have been done to create a malignant sadistic narcissist, just from spoiling them, just from allowing them to get away with terrible behavior. And then, like I said, on the other hand, a child, like my parents, were probably created from the violence they suffered as kids. It was brutal, it was terrible. And yes, I have sympathy and compassion for the child they were when they were being just an innocent child, 5, 6, 7, whatever, and they're being beaten and they're being hurt and thrown out on the street if they don't listen. And I do have sympathy for any child, any person who was abused and hurt. However, I don't think, I mean, people will say, oh, well, isn't that an excuse for them? Doesn't that mean we should feel sorry for a narcissist because they were an abused child? Well, no, we should feel sorry for the child they were, but at the same time, the monster they've become because of what happened to them is now terrorizing the village, you could say, is now terrorizing the world relentlessly and enjoying it. So, you can't even really, it's hard for me to feel sorry for people who go around destroying people and thinking it's funny. Like, I genuinely can't. I'm not a person who forgives easily, and to me it's kind of, oh, sorry, I have notifications going off. Sorry if you hear any little phone sounds, it's because I'm going live through my phone. Sorry about that. Okay, hopefully it'll stop. Yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying was that I'm not someone who forgives easily terrible things. When you've wronged me and I didn't do anything to you and I didn't deserve it, I don't see why I should forgive you for that. Just like if I wrong you for no reason, why should you forgive me for that? I was wrong. And unless I'm truly, truly sorry, and narcissists are never truly sorry. They're angry that you called them out. They're angry that they got caught. They're angry that they now have to face justice, because in their mind, they want to be able to get away with anything they want and everyone just accept it. They want you to accept the pain they give you. They want you to be like, yeah, sure, beat me, it's fine. Hurt me, it's fine. Yeah, cheat with this person, it's fine. Ruin our intimacy by bringing third and fourth parties in. And some people, sadly, they are broken enough to accept this messed up abusive deal that the narcissist offers. They say, okay, if you want to be with me because you've fallen in love with me and you think I'm great, but then I show you my true face, I let the mask slip, and then you see I don't care about your feelings, I will lead you on, I will blatantly cheat in front of you, and I watch the anguish and pain in your face and it will make me laugh. and you still stay with that person, that's because you have some brokenness somewhere in you. And I'm not judging you, because I know exactly how that feels, because I'm incredibly strong. And it was only until I got out of the narcissistic relationship, where I'm the victim of a narcissist, and I couldn't believe I had been there so long. I mean, I wasn't there that long, but it was crazy to me how I looked back on everything and wrote everything down and thought, oh my God, look at what I tolerated from this person who was so unworthy, so cruel, so nasty. I would never have tolerated this before. Why now? Why? And then the reason is I'd never come across a narcissist in a relationship side. I had narcissistic parents. And I think because he triggered those old wounds, it weakened me. So when he came into my life, and he was just mimicking me, pretending to be super brave, super honorable, super kind, super helpful, just copying everything I did and making it seem like, wow, look at us, we're like twin soulmates, we're so similar. Isn't that amazing? And I'm like, well, yeah, if it's real, it's amazing. But and then being a person from a broken home as a kid, and then being as an adult, having people always treating you unfairly, and I always had people being weird and jealous of me, which I didn't understand, because a lot of the time I had so many bad things going on in my life, whether people knew about it or not, but yet they had the perception that I had a great life just based on my looks. Like, they would look at me and think, oh, she's always dressed nice, and nothing expensive, but just neat and tidy, hair always done neat and tidy, a little bit of eyeliner, and not even foundation, just a bit of black eyeliner like a Egyptian, not too crazy, just like looking neat and tidy and pleasant. And yet, just that, these people who had £300 shoes on and £300 top on, looking at me in my little cheap outfit, because I would just wear, just cheap black, like, because I didn't want to waste a ton of money on clothes. I thought wasting money on clothes and shoes was stupid. I thought, well, I'll buy something that I like. I'm not going to buy something because it has a silly tick on it or a logo. If it's nice, I'll buy it. If it's affordable, I'll buy it. But I hated wasting money on nonsense. And yeah, it was really strange to me to see how, and then when people, yeah, to see how jealous people were acting. And then people might say, well, how do you know they were jealous? You're imagining that, or you're guessing. No, they would tell people this, and then those people would come and tell me, so I'm not even making this up, like, because I didn't want anyone to be jealous of me, because I thought, if you had my life, if you knew about my real everything that happened in my life, you wouldn't want my life. So what are you jealous of? You're jealous of my hair is a bit longer than yours? Are you jealous that my eyes are prettier than yours? So what do you want? You just want to take my eyes? You want to take my hair off my head? What do you want? Because if you wanted to be me, all of me, you'd have to suffer my history. You'd have to go through my abuse. If that's what you're saying, you want to be me, apparently. And yeah, so it's really strange to me how people can be so stupid, basically. People are just stupid. Like, it is stupid to me to walk down the street and see someone and be like, oh, I hate her. Her hair's longer than me, than mine, I mean. And I'd be like, who cares about that? There are people dying in the world, like people being abused every day, and you're worried about this woman's got longer hair than you, straighter hair than you, straighter nose than you, different eye color than you. Who cares? And then there's also like things like, I remember hearing people talking about, well, arguing about if the world is flat or round. Who cares? We can't prove it either way. Yes, NASA showed us pictures that it's round. They're claiming, the flat earth people are claiming it's flat. I don't care either way. Why don't you care about the people in your neighborhood who are starving and on the street and homeless? Why don't you care about the kids being abused? Why don't you care about something that matters? Like, grow up. Like, the world is so stupid, and I'm so exhausted hearing about the rubbish that people argue about, I mean, something recently happened in England, in, I think it was Southport. So I'm not in that area. I'm down in London, and this area is up near the middle of England. And something awful just happened, and it's so horrific. I don't even want to mention it on here. If anyone looks up Southport knife attack in the UK, you can see the details. They're talking about it now. But that's causing a lot of turmoil. There's already the grief of people, of innocent young children being hurt, and some fatally have passed. And it's so sad to know that instead of people coming together and grieving together and working out how can we make the community safer, they have started a riot against people who had nothing to do with it. So they perceived that because the attacker was a certain race, they perceived that we should go and attack anyone who looks like the attacker, basically, which makes no sense, because if a person from England who was a plain white English person with no foreign connections did this terrible thing, who would you attack? These English people aren't going to attack the other English people. And it just didn't make sense, and I just thought, why are we attacking each other? Why aren't we grieving these poor kids and supporting the parents and giving messages of condolence to the parents? But it's like some racist group decided to go down there, or I mean, I don't even think the group is from the local area. That's the weird thing. The people in the local area are grieving these girls' death, and then some other people who are racist decided to make it about race. And it has nothing to do with race. It was just an evil attacker with mental problems did something terrible. And it could have been anyone from any race, because there's good and bad in every race. I mean, what on earth is going on? Like, this world is so sick. And it really hurts my heart to see, just the constant brutality. No one's safe. You can't go to any country and feel safe. You have to always be on guard. One moment. Oh, excuse me. Yes, so I just feel like this world is just so messed up. It is just, like I was talking on my channel. If anyone wants to check out my channel and the videos on there, the name is Unconquerable Soul 1111, and I was talking the other day about how there definitely is life after death. And this earth plane, this planet, is meant to be a earth school where we've picked our life before we come here, and we get born into the baby we will be born into, and then we grow up, and apparently we've picked these events that take place in our life. Now, I was saying how it's so brutal here, it's so awful here, even though I know through my psychic gifts and messages and visions and other people who have told me about their near death experiences where they went to the other side and were given information and they brought it back and told everyone. I know for a fact that yes, we are spiritual beings in human bodies having a human experience. Your human body is just a vessel, and it is not the real you. Once you die, your spirit will go to the light, and there is a lot of suffering, sadly, that can happen to a soul on this earth plane. But apparently we chose this, and then that's a bit I always found hard to understand. Like, why would I choose a life where I'm beaten, or the R word happened to me and stuff like that? Like, because I've had so many horrible things happen to me, and so it really aggravated me, the thought that, why would I choose this life? And but I have to come to terms with the fact that even in the brutality, even with the terrible things happening, there's meant to be some lessons learned from certain things, even the brutal things. And yes, it is hard to accept, because I find it hard to accept. But I have faith that at least we go to a better place when we pass. When our soul leaves our body, we do go to a better place where we see our loved ones again, where we, can experience pure love and peace and happiness. I do believe that. Excuse me. And so, to anyone who has lost any loved ones, I'm very sorry for your loss and your grief. And I hope that you have faith and know that it is true. There is life after death, and you will see your loved ones again. So, you know, please keep strong and just know you definitely will be together again in the spirit world. So, yeah, but it is hard, it is brutal, and it all seems senseless and pointless. It doesn't make sense. Like, why do we have to keep experiencing terrible things? It's just terrible. But I'm going to end the live now. I'm going to go live again later. What's the time? Oh, it's 11:12 in the UK. So I'm not sure when I'm going to go live again, but if you subscribe to the channel, it should tell you. If you click the all, ALL, the all word in the notifications bell area, and then it will give you all of the notifications when I go live again. So, oh, and if you look on my channel, there's lots of videos there that are talking about many different subjects, many different things that go on in life. And I hope that someone out there can get some peace and comfort from anything I've said in these videos on my channel. And I just pray for the world's protection and peace. And I genuinely feel so sorry for all the pain that many of us have to go through. And I really, really want to just say, like, just that I pray for the world, and I pray that we can be protected while we're here on our mission, because a lot of us don't realize that we're soldiers of light. We're light beings sent down here to raise the world's vibration, raise the collective vibration. So, like, for instance, there's you know the thought, like I was told, it was made known to me that even if we're just here existing as a good soul, that is important. Just us being here, even if we can't go out there and save the world, just every act of kindness we do, it raises the vibration, it counters the evil. It's like having good souls here, even though there's so much evil going on, just having us here, our light, our kindness, it triggers others to show their light and their kindness. And it counters the evil, as in pushes it down, when we keep doing good. And that's why it's super important for people to understand that doing good, helping others, is something we should always be thinking of. Like, we shouldn't be self-centered, we shouldn't be self-focused all the time. We should be considerate of other living beings. One sec. My gosh, sorry. We should be considerate of animals. Everyone is a living soul, so people shouldn't hurt animals, shouldn't hurt children, shouldn't hurt anyone. And if you see people hurting others, you should have the bravery and the honor and the integrity to step in verbally or physically if necessary. But I know a lot of people are afraid. They don't feel they can, stand up to the badness in this world. But you have to be the change you want to see in the world. It's no good turning a blind eye to evil, and then when evil happens to you, you complain that, well, no one's doing anything. Well, they're doing the same thing you did. They're turning a blind eye to evil. They're saying, it's not my family, it's not my kid, it's not my wife, so I don't need to help you. I'll help my immediate family, but I won't help you. I'll consider people I like, but I won't consider you. And so we have to try harder to be better people, to try and give that kindness, even if it's something as small as smiling at someone who seems sad, asking them, are you okay? I mean, I understand it's not always possible to just go out into the world, because we might live in a dangerous place. Like, there are some areas where it is not sensible to smile at people, because they will literally be like, what are you looking at, and take your smile as ridicule, or you're mocking them, or because there's something wrong with them, so their brain is telling them something that's not true, something negative. And I can understand that, because I grew up in London, and if you smile at the wrong person, they want to fight you. It's really pathetic, you know. But yeah, if you see, wherever you see injustice or sadness or grief or cruelty, like, if you can make a difference in a positive way to take away those negative things, then just try. Like, sorry, like simple things, like, I mean, like, I just one little story I'll tell before I'll go. Oh my gosh, sorry. I think I'm getting a cold or something, because someone around me had a cold, and now I'm coughing like them. Oh no. um, right. So yes, a little story I'll tell you. And then I'll go. Um, there was a lady whose parents I knew. So basically, her parents were old when I was really young. When I was about 7, the parents looked about 50 or 60, and then she was so the daughter of these parents. Uh, she was like at least 15 years older than me, I think, or maybe 20 years older. But anyway, so basically, her neighbor, who is the friend of our family, she was a narcissist. And the one with the 5 kids who had an affair with the married man, she, being a narcissist, when that couple died, their daughter, who's 15 years older than me, this is many years later, when I'm I'm an adult. So yeah, so they died in old age, and then she's reaching out for help because she's grieving, right? So the narcissistic neighbor, who is the friend of my narcissistic mum, 2 narcs calling each other best friends, huh? What a joke. And then she asked the young lady who'd lost her parents, asked her, what do you think happens when we die? Do you think my parents are together? Because the mum died many years before, and then the dad died. And she said, I hope my mum and dad are together. Now, a normal person in their right mind would see that this lady needs that comfort. She needs to believe that her parents' souls are reunited in the love they had on this planet. It goes on, and they're together and safe and pain-free, because that's what really does happen. Now, the narcissistic neighbor saw that pain in her face, heard her voice, and you know what she said to her? She said, no, they're not together, they're rotting in the ground, and you're not even of the religion I am, because she was like a Jehovah Witness or something. She said, oh, only Jehovah Witnesses go to like a paradise, but you're not even one of us, so you won't even go anywhere. Who says that? Who says that to a grieving person? And I heard about it. My mum told me about it. I was furious, absolutely furious that she had done that to her, because I knew it was just a sadistic act by a sick narc preying on a victim. Preying on a victim. She was making a victim out of her by using her to do something sadistic to get supply for herself. The narc used the grief of this woman to boost her own sadistic supply, because it made her feel good, making the grieving woman feel worse, right? So then I hadn't seen the mum and dad who had passed away for many years, because I was a kid the last time I saw them, but I knew them, and they were kind and lovely, and they always brought us sweets out to us and stuff when I was visiting the neighbor, and they always were lovely people. And they were an Irish family, the parents were Irish, but the kids were born in England. But they, you know, they were beautiful family, really kind. Now, really funny too. You know, love a Guinness, loved a pint of Guinness and have fun and a party and a drink now and then. But yeah, they were lovely, lovely people. Now, the daughter who is of the daughter of the couple that passed away, I hadn't seen her for many years, but she had moved into the parents' home, which was underneath my mum's narcissistic friend. So she's staying there, you know, saying, "Oh, I can feel my dad's spirit here," you know, and my mum and dad's photos are all here, and I'm going to stay here a while until I can't sell the, like, she didn't feel like she could sell it, you know, because I think she'd grown up there and it was the home, it was her parents' home. So when I remembered the address, so I bought a sympathy card, you know, like my deepest condolences card, but I put a letter inside the card. So I signed the card, but I put a long letter in there. And what I wrote in the letter was, you know, I heard what that woman had said to you, my mum's friend, and I was really upset because what she said is not true. Now I need to tell you the truth about what really does happen, what I know for a fact happens when we pass away from this life. So I explained to her, I wrote a big long letter very clearly saying that your mum when she passed was taken to the light, all her family were there, and she would have had no pain, no suffering. And then when your dad passed, he would have been met by her or met by spirit guides or angels, taken to the light as well. They would have been reunited with all their family, and there is no way that their soul is in the ground with their body. The body is just a vessel, their souls are together, and they want to watch over you and your life. And so don't cut your journey short, because she was starting to get so grief stricken that she might have took herself out of here, took her own life, because she was starting to feel worse. And then that sick narcissist up, you know, above her, my mum's sick friend, was telling her stuff to make her want to leave this earth plane quicker. So it was very sad that, you know, the neighbor couldn't even be nice enough. Well, no narcissist is going to support you in any way, shape, or form. They can't. Their personality disorder won't let them. You know, if you're nice to a narcissist, they will abuse you. That's how sick it is. The closer you get to a narcissist, the worse the abuse will become. So, and then you being close to them is no reward. You might think, oh, he's abusing me. Oh, that means he thinks I'm close to him. No, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing to get that close. If I'm close to you and you abuse me because you think I'm close to you, that's not good. That's not worth it. What are you getting out of it as the non-narcissist person? What are you getting except abuse? You know. Anyway, so then, you know, I explained to her that I know you were worried about if you could go on, you know, you were feeling that you wanted to cut your journey short. But I just want you to know that, imagine if you had died first and your parents were here, you would see them from the spirit world, and you would see them grieving and crying, and you would want to take away their grief, and you would want them to continue on living so you could watch over their life and be their guardian angel. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, they want that for you. They want you to go on and have kids, or even if you don't have kids, it doesn't matter. You just live a life that they can watch over, and when it's your time, they will come and meet you. Or you will be taken to them on the other side. Hold on to that and know that they love you, and know that they're not in pain. They're together. You know, even your dogs are up there, you know, like even the beloved dog your parents had, they're with them, you know. So all your ancestors are up there wishing you well, cheering you on, wishing you strength. Okay, so don't listen to anyone else. This is what really happens, and, you know, keep going. And so I sent her that letter, and then I can't remember if she called me or not. I think I put my number in the thing, and I think she did text me, or she told the narc neighbor to call me because she was closer to my mum, I guess. So maybe she felt nervous calling me because we hadn't seen each other for many years, you know. And some people also, she's grieving. I didn't expect her to go out of her way to call me because she's, you know, she's got a lot on her plate, on her mind, you know, like you're not even thinking straight when grief happens like that, when something terrible happens like that. You barely can make it through half an hour without the grief crushing you, you know. So when I got word that she'd read the written letter I gave to her, I was so pleased that she got the letter and she read it. And she said, "That was beautiful. I appreciate it. You really did give me some comfort." And I was like, phew, okay, I'm very glad. Now, now, some people might say, like, oh, well, you know, you can't bring anyone's dead relatives back. What does it matter what we say to them? If I don't know what to say, you know, yes, that's true. If someone comes to me and says, my dad died, I can't bring their dad back by saying, I'm sorry, that's sad. But it's about respect. What do you respect? Do you respect the fact that I don't want to make anything worse? Yes, I can't make them happy. And even if I don't know what to say, a respectful, normal person in their right mind who is not a narcissist would say, I'm so sorry. You have my deepest condolence or my deepest sympathy. Why don't people know that? Obviously, the people who don't know that are narcs or have no manners or no heart or no feeling. Where's your heart? You know, where's your compassion? What is wrong with you? Clearly, you are a narcissist if you enjoy inflicting pain and disappointment and cruelty on others. You are sick. And yes, I'm sorry that it's something you can't control, but it doesn't make you any less sick, sadly. You know, that's the catch 22. You're going to be triggering the feelings of anger in people. People will want to beat the narcissist up. But then when the narcissist has been beaten up and looking like a punching bag beaten to a pulp, then people will feel sorry for them and say, oh, look at this poor beaten person, and not consider this person could have R-worded people, beaten children, abused people for years. But because it was all hush hush and hidden and they were seen in the public eye as something special and kind, and you know, so people half the time have no idea what narcs have done, what they're capable of, because it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all done behind closed doors, you know. Even when it's exposed, people still want to be on the narcissist side just because they're so brainwashed by them, you know. It's crazy. Or those people are just happy to turn a blind eye to evil, it seems. So yes, but so when she told me it gave her comfort, the letter I sent her, I was very, very pleased that I managed to give her some comfort and, you know, erase that cruelness that the narc neighbor had said to her. And as far as I'm aware, she's, you know, she's coping. But the thing that was really special, that I really was happy to know, is that her dad, who had passed away, came through to me and said thank you. He came through and gave me a vision, and he said, I'm with my brother, and he showed me his brother, and the two of them are together and they looked younger, because a lot of the time when people are in the spirit world, they will choose a time in their life when they were strong, like in their 20s. So you might not know your granddad when he was in his 20s, you know him as an old man. But then if you have any psychic gifts and you see them come through to you, they'll come through to you as a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, not the 80-year-old you saw when he passed, you know. So that's quite fascinating. You know, even though I knew about the spirit world, the fact that he was watching over his daughter and he saw that this letter, this act of kindness, that I went out of my way not to get any pat on the head or reward, but just to genuinely say, have courage, have faith, everything's going to be okay. I know the pain you feel, it's awful, it's soul crushing, I know, but I'm here with you, you can talk to me. And I even said that anytime you want to call me, you can call me. And you know, and just chat, and we'll talk about the good times you had, and you know, but I'm here for you, sort of thing. And so yeah, so it was really nice that the dad came through and he's with his, showing he's with his brother who'd already passed long before. And that was just beautiful. That was just, you know, I realized, I mean, I already knew I did the right thing, but it confirmed that you were right to, your soul is pure, and you have pure intentions, and keep going, keep being you, because it shines. Every time you shine your light, it dissolves the darkness more and more, so anyway, I'm gonna head off the live now. um if anyone wants to look at on my channel, like I said, it's Unconquerable Soul 1111, and there's lots of videos on there about many different subjects in life, and some of the videos talk about my life and my experiences. So anyway, take care everyone, and wherever you are in the world, have a great day, have a good morning, have a good night, and just keep safe and be vigilant and be good to each other, and pray for strength, ask for help. Don't feel ashamed when things get hard and you're struggling. Just pray for that strength, and keep the faith that, you know, our loved ones are safe and without pain in the spirit world, and we will see them again. And while we're here on this earth plane, as brutal and awful as it is, we're soldiers of light, and we're here on a mission to learn certain things, to learn stuff. Sadly, through the pain, it's like trial by fire. But if we have to walk through the fire, for this we must be brave, and we must always fight back against evil, and always try to be the change we want to see in the world, and always try to be a decent soul, and never turn a blind eye to evil. So I'm so glad that I could do this channel or this live, and just hopefully it will reach people who need to hear it, who can get some comfort from any of the words I've said. And I'll try and go live later. I'll try and go live at least once a day. I can't really promise that, so don't hold me to that, because sometimes things get in the way. But I really do genuinely wish everyone peace and protection, and I'm gonna head off now, so take care and bye for now.